Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Today we are cooking a dinner option or lunch if you want it then. It is called tuna mornay. Here's what we need. This one's going to be stovetop and in the oven, and it should serve 4. You can serve more if you have smaller servings anyway, but it recommends that you serve 4. So you will need your oven on 180 fan forced, 200 regular, a 6-cup capacity baking dish, or you can do individual ones, that's up to you. And you will need yourself a saucepan and a whisk. So come on in, I'm going to talk you through the ingredients. So we're back to a funny sort of a day because it's rained and then it stopped and it's very humid, and I'm definitely feeling the humidity today. So first of all, the ingredients as follows: 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour. I've measured all this out earlier. 1.5 cups of low fat milk, that's in the jug there. I'm still using my low fat long life lactose free milk. We also need a cup of grated tasty cheese. I've had that in the bottom of the freezer, but I've had it out for a while, so that's defrosting away nicely. Got to have cheese in everything that you can. Yum. A 420 gram can of corn kernels drained. That's a little bit more. Funny thing is, most cans now have a ring pull that you pull. This one I needed a can opener for, and I'll tell you about the other one after. So you just drain that through a colander. So you've got your corn kernels. You will also need your can of tuna in spring water. That was the other one. I needed a can opener. I haven't used one for I don't know how long for anything in the kitchen. And then today I needed 2. So that is really weird. So I've just drained it. I've just got to flake it up. We also need a cup of cooked risotto, which I haven't cooked yet, but I googled it. That is 1/3 of a cup in there. That will make a cup of cooked risotto. Actually, we better get that on in a moment, so I'll talk you through the rest of it first. That risotto is a pasta, just so you know. It looks like rice, but it's actually a pasta. So I'm going to have to cook that, and I think we cook it the same way as a pasta. So I'll get back to you on that one. 1 cup of frozen peas. They've been out of the freezer for a while. In there. 3 shallots finely chopped. These were down the bottom of the freezer. Doesn't matter that they're frozen because they're going to be cooked anyway. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I've just used the squeezy one. That is in there. Won't open it. 1/4 of a cup of fresh breadcrumbs. I've just, rather than go out and buy a loaf of white bread, I've just used the bread that I use, and I haven't finely chopped it up. So that's the multigrain bread that I use now. And we're going to do a salad to serve. So I just grabbed some the salad mix, which I've just got to wash. That's still okay. I brought that a few days ago, but it's still okay. I brought some yummy little cherry tomatoes. Just got to wash those. Cucumbers looking a bit how's it going, but it'll still be fine. And I've always wanted to try these. These are little baby beetroot. We sell them where I work, and they're like that. So we can chop those up. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, you will need your oven on 180. I'm doing mine on 180 because my oven acts fan forced. And we will need our saucepan because we're making a white sauce. But of course, we do need to cook the risotto. So let's get that going now. So because risotto is a pasta that looks like a rice, I'm going to cook it exactly the same way as I cook pasta. So that is a pot of boiling water with salt in it on the stovetop. When it comes to the boil, we pop the pasta in and we're going to cook it for about 8 minutes, which is how long you normally cook pasta for, or until it's al dente, which means not quite firm to the bite. All right, so I'm going to get this on and I'll be back. Okay, so I'll leave that to keep doing its thing. So when that's cooked, that will come back into the picture. So for now, that's off in its own little world. So we are going to get started on what we need to do for the rest of it. So I've got this. I just wanted to show you these tins that I had to use the can opener for, which I almost couldn't remember where it was. So first of all, we are going to get from the, let me just put this over here. Just trying not to wet my ingredients list as well. So from our milk, we need 1/4 cup because we're going to set that aside. So our best way to do that is to literally just get our 1/4 cup, dunk it in and get it into a jug. Grab yourself a fork because this will be easier for doing this little part. Small one. Okay, so let's just set this aside. So combine corn flour and that bit of milk. So this is just to thicken it. That's all we're doing with this part. All right. Give that a whisk. Place remaining milk in a saucepan and bring to the boil on high heat. All right, so let's go. So we've got our milk on, which is there. So as soon as that comes to the boil, we are going to mix in the corn flour mixture. That will make us a thicker white sauce. As soon as that comes to the boil, we're going to put our risotto in and that will cook it. Our water's bubbling for our risotto, so I'm going to pop it in and pop a timer on for 8 minutes. Now keep the eyes in the back of your head because this just came up to the boil and then went down, so I'm going to turn that down. We're adding the corn flour mix, then we bring it back up to the boil. All right, now remove this one from the heat. We stir it for about a minute until it thickens, but in all honesty, it should be pretty thick. So you're going to add 1/4 cup of that cheese that we measured out earlier. So stir that through, so you're going to end up with a cheese sauce. That is how you make cheese sauce. You want to make macaroni and cheese. Macaroni cooks like this, cheese cooks like this. All right, there we go. Just going to give that a stir to see how our risotto's going. I'm just using a fork rather than my normal pasta stirring spoon. I've got to bring that back up to the boil, so I'm going to do it that way. Let's get this one off the stove top. Follow me, we're going to put the rest into this. Okay, so into here, our cheese sauce, we are adding the corn, the tuna, the risotto. So make sure your corn's fully drained. Remove your whisk because we actually don't want that. You want a wooden spoon from now on. Otherwise you're going to end up with nightmares. All right, in goes corn. I'm trying not to make this look awkward, I promise. And what I like to do is after each addition, give it a stir So there's our corn. So now it looks like cheesy corn soup. Then we're going to add our tuna. We need to add our risotto, which is not ready yet, but rest assured that won't be too much longer. In goes this. So we've got tuna in here now. Yum. Our peas are going to go in next. So this is a really quick meal to make, just so you know, in case you're wondering what's going on here. It's very quick and easy to make. After our peas, we're adding our green onion and our lemon juice then. Okay. Now you can season it with some salt, but it says to season it with pepper. I'm just only going to use pepper. And then our lemon juice goes in. So all we're left with is our salad and our breadcrumbs and the rest of our cheese, okay? So lemon juice is in. Season with pepper. Now we're waiting on the risotto, so we can't actually spoon it in yet. I will be back with risotto. We're back with risotto. So we're just going to get... So it didn't take long to cook. I gave it 8 minutes in a very hot pot of boiling water with some salt. And as you can see, it looks like a pasta, but it also looks like a rice. So the risotto is generally the little pasta that is used for when you do soups and stuff. If you want to bulk it up a little bit. Anyway, we're putting it in our tuna mornay. That's where we're going with ours. Okay, everything's in. Now earlier I sprayed the baking tray, baking dish, whatever we'd like to call it. Give it a final stir. Okay, I'm going to bring over that baking dish. It looks yum. Oh, I always like to sit my baking dishes on a tray, even if I know it's not going to flow over. You just never know. So just spoon it in. All right. Smooth it out. So that's what it's looking like so far. All right. Sprinkle with combined remaining cheese and breadcrumbs. Well, I actually haven't mixed them together, so I'm going to go breadcrumbs. And you can do your breadcrumbs finer than this, but for me it would have meant getting the food processor down. So I'm very proud of myself for getting this far today with everything else I'm doing. So that's beautiful. And as I say, use the bread you like. I used to go out and buy a whole loaf of white bread just so I can have literally one piece of white bread. It's not worth it. Cheese on top. All right. This is going in the oven for 20 minutes or until golden. I'll see you then. So after 20 minutes in the oven, it looks amazing. It smells good. I've made myself up a little salad. with the baby beets, which I cut up, some of the cherry tomatoes, and the salad mix. I had some balsamic vinegar dressing left over, so I've just popped that on top. I'm having this for a normal lunch. This is an early lunch for me, actually. So yeah, please enjoy. And thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been Tuna Mornay. See you soon. Bye.